Right, got the torch. So stainless braided pipes are fitted. There's a little P-clip with a rubber boot that fits on that stud. The hard part with these is you get them cutouts, if you can see there where the union is. So I found it easier, disconnect the brake pipe off the caliper first. You'll see a big nut which is 17mm, or it might be Imperial, probably Imperial, but 17mm did fit. Slacken that off as much as you can, and then you can use the brake pipe to wind it out, just so you get a bit more manoeuvrability on the pipe, and then you can get your 13 or 14mm, whatever size the union is, to slacken that off, and then you can just keep winding the brake pipe out and that'll come off. So I sucked the fluid out from the pot, and this one, this was loose when I come to it, so I'll probably end up sorting something out with that. As you can see, the spacers on it just rise it up, but then rubber bungs actually fit in the plastic. But yeah, there is that, it's buried behind there, the cutouts there. So this one's all fitted, ready to go. So I'm just doing the driver's side caliper, so right front caliper. So I've just pulled the pistons out now. Obviously you either do it with compressed air, or if you leave them on the car, it's entirely up to you what you want to do with that. So what you need to do is you need to block one piston off. Now I did use a C-clamp just to hold one piston, and you just need to take your time with the airline and the blowgun, and do not put your fingers in between there, because it will break your finger. You don't want that. So literally all I'm doing with these is replacing the seals inside. I've got new pistons in the kit. What have we got? Brake fluid is Castrol React SRF fluid. I told him to get the 2 litres because that's probably what we'll use to flush the system through. Don't think, no, front APs, yeah. You get new anti-rattle pads and shims in it, and a new bleed nipple. I'm not sure where he's got the parts from, but we've got, oh, new pins as well. Oh, cool. Oh, that's alright then. We'll see if we can use them, which I think we should be able to. Sort something out with them. So we have moved the clamp so I can show you them. So new pistons, any pistons, rubber seals. I don't think there's any difference, they're just square, but I'll find out once I strip it down. Little pads, so I have indicated where the pads have come from. So that is RO for right outer and RI for right inner. Obviously if you're just doing the fronts and the rears separately, that doesn't make much difference, but if you are doing them at the same time, make sure you put on your pads RFI or RFO, so it's right front inner and right front outer. So they're the squeal pads there on the back. Obviously I'll use these steel plates. I have got some, these so we use aluminium grease at work. Well, one of the technician that does the GTRs does. So aluminium grease, effective at high temperatures up to 1100 degrees C. So we're going to put a dab of that on. Not many people use this. They stick to using copper grease. It's what you use on GTR under trays because the bolts do snap. Quite a few places put stainless steel nuts and bolts on the GTRs and they don't put any grease on, which just baffles me, but there we go. So we've got some of that, and I also bought this stuff. Get off. Which is from Demon Tweaks, which is Fuchs, I think it is, or Fuchs, however you pronounce it. Red rubber grease. So that is for rubber components when you're rebuilding brakes. Obviously, some people say just put a smear of brake fluid on and build it back up, but the way I have it in my head is that brake fluid contaminates and breaks down your rubber components, so why would you want to put brake fluid on that? Which is why I just like using a thin smear of the red rubber grease around the seals, which is what I like to do anyway. It is a track car, so it only gets used every now and again. You don't use it that often, so rather than me contaminate the seals going in, just put some grease on them. So these are not the monoblock ones, you can unbolt them. The AP twin pot calipers, or single pot calipers if you like. So I don't like separating them because you do need a jig to set them back up again, because they have to be central to one another for setting up. That's as far as I know with them anyway, so I've usually in the past just left them assembled like that and just strip them down like this. I wasn't going to remove that. Literally all I was going to do is clean the insides. If it was going to be like a full brake caliper rebuild, obviously you'd undo your pipe work, to take all the seals out, send your caliper away for vapor blasting or soda blasting, whatever you want to do with it. Soda blasting is usually better for them. Or soda blast them and then load of hot soapy water, get them all nice and clean, get all the grit out, blow them out with the air line, and then clean them again, make sure all the grit's out, get them sparkly clean, and then you can paint them up as you want, mask out all the points you don't want painting. Someone else has painted these, I've not painted these. So yeah, so I'm going to pop the seals out, which is literally just a little pick inside, and then rubber seals should come out. Now I'm hoping he has got me the right seals. Looking at that, I hope he's got me the right ones. However, we will see. Right then, so leave that for a minute. Got the new tyres mounted on the fronts, gave them a bit of a bath at work as well, balanced them up, so nice and clean inside, weights are on. Usually if it's a proper track car you get, well, I mean a proper track car, I mean if you was with a race team, or even if you get the like the tyre lads at the circuit on a race day, they'd put like a silver tape over the weights just so the weights don't fall off. But I've not got any of that, and it never had any on to begin with, so probably be alright. So new rubbers on them. I've set them up, blew them up to 40 psi, leave them for about 10 minutes, I left them for, and then I set them down to 30. So with race cars, you're looking for to get a really balanced car is that them tyres, the same circumference, which is the outer tyre. So you got a tape measure on the centre and measure the tyre, and you make sure that each tyre has grown the same and is going to be the same or within a certain amount you want to run that car in. Then you set them down to 30, leave them so they settle out, then you measure them again, and you'll more likely find that they're all within 1 mil if you like, or a bit more. Depends how you measure them and what you're looking for. Most of the good team owners are decent engineers anyway, and they've been doing motorsport for quite a while, so they usually know what's what and what wins races and things like that. But yeah, that's what you do with them. So I've set them to 30 psi for him, so they're ready to go on the car. Yeah, I don't mind a tissue roll. I've run out of blue roll. So I did run hot soapy water through them, blew them off a little bit, so I want to clean this caliper up and at least get it dry. Clean most of the stuff up, so it looks like then 3M pads that I've got in that kit are gonna go on there, maybe on that ledge where the pad rides. But they're not that bad, they're not damaged. I might just leave them in the packet for him, and it can, because they've painted over them, you see. So if I start chipping away at them, then it's going to crack the paint on the caliper, and then it's not worth doing that. So yeah, what I usually like to do is paper towel, wipe them down, make sure they're dry, blow them out with compressed air, make sure you get rid of all the water and everything. It'll not matter too much about a little bit of water in it anyway, because you've got to flush it through with brake fluid. Pump your pedal, go for a run in it after you've bled the brakes and just make sure they're working. You're then going to get out the car with a temperature gun, and you're going to take a temperature reading of what your discs are, or at least what the face of the disc is at heat wise, and it'll sort of give you a reading if you've got a caliper binding or a brake pad that's stuck on, or just stuck on the pins more than anything. So I'll blow them out, get it dried. Obviously after you've done all that, you're going to bleed it again, let the car cool down, and then bleed it through, and then it'll be all good then. So I'm going to blow it out and dry it, get as much as the water out as you can. That's why I use hot soapy water more than anything. Don't use brake cleaner. I only use brake cleaner to kind of, if there's bits of evidence of brake dust around it, just get all the big stuff off more than anything. Don't shoot brake cleaner inside, because brake cleaner has a tendency to probably stick, because as soon as it comes into contact with brake fluid, it doesn't evaporate as such from various experiences. So yeah, so I'm going to get this done, get the caliper or at least cleaned, and then probably built up tomorrow night. So before I go, thanks for watching. Go and do the other side tomorrow, and I'll probably end up having to take them tyres in work Friday to do. Probably do the race Friday, because do the other side caliper, get them bolted on, back on, wheels on, because this car is an aluminium floor, so it's a very light car, and the wheels are heavy. So firstly, when I took the front wheels off, the car tipped like that, so I put one wheel back on. That's why I've got the blocks underneath the rear wheels as a weight, so it doesn't tip. Very light car, so just be careful of that when you're jacking it up. I have got it jacked up, not sure if you can see it. I've got two trolley jacks under the back. I'd call it a rear spine. And then I've just got two axle stands at the front, just on like the rib layer of the floor. I'll show you. Torch. So you can see the rib layer there. I've got the stand under the front, and then the trolley jacks on that rear brace bar. there's nothing, because it's carbon fibre at the back, so there's nothing to jack up really on the back. So that's why that is like that. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Thank you.